Hey everybody, welcome to Longmont's Digital Mayor, and today I've got a special guest, the actual mayor of the city of Longmont. I'm Daniel Coleman. I am the digital mayor of Longmont. I'm self-appointed. He is actually elected. Brian, welcome to Longmont's digital mayor.
Hey,
how are you?
Well, I'm very good. Thanks for coming out to the office here and taking the time to chat with me.
Yeah, no, and thanks for taking the time to meet with the constituents. Think of this as your audience.
Great.
As I think my last post got right around 1,000 views, so there's some people out there in the city of Longmont looking.
Good.
So let's just start with a softball.
Softball, I like softballs.
Yeah, softballs.
Okay.
Who are you and why are you running again?
Okay, so my name is Brian Bagley. I moved to Longmont back in 1998. That was just after I graduated from law and business school at the University of Colorado. I've got a law practice here in northern Colorado, the Bagley Law Firm. We've got 20 or so employees, 10 attorneys. We do family law, personal injury, and criminal defense. Our offices are here in Longmont as well as in Denver. And I started on city council in 2011 because this is the place I was going to make my home. This is where I'm going to grow old. It's where my children will be raised. And it's where I need to, or feel like I need to, or should make a contribution in order to make my community a great place to live. And so I ran for council in 2011, and then in 2017, I had 2 years left remaining on my council term, and I figured since Dennis Coons, who I was very close with, respected a great deal, was finishing his 3 permitted terms each 2 years, I thought, well, I've been doing it now for 6 years, so why don't I try the middle chair and be able to run a meeting and set the agenda and have a little bit more impact on the volunteer time that I'm giving. So I did that, served 2 years, and now I find that I've got a few things in the hopper that aren't quite done yet, that I think that me serving as mayor and being on city council would continue to allow those things to advance.
So this would be your second or third term?
Second term.
Second term. What are those priorities? Normally, if you were being newly elected, I would ask you what are your top 3 priorities for your first 100 days in office.
Right.
But you've already had 700 days plus.
Right.
Something like that. So what would be the priorities that you're looking at?
Right. So I'm going to actually answer the question you didn't ask.
Okay.
Because a lot of times people on the campaign or previously always say, hey, so what are you going to do if you're elected?
Right.
And my response is you should look at what I've been doing.
Okay.
And then that will answer your question, because my belief is people who serve in elected office, if you say you're going to do something and then don't get around to actually mentioning it again until you're up for re-election, there's a problem.
Right.
So in this particular case, while I've been on council, I've had some issues that were and continue to be important. Appointed to the governor's oil and gas task force. And since then, and as I began to understand more about heavy industry within city limits, such as fracking, I really strive to make sure that it's not next to our homes and schools, that we pushed it outside Longmont. Right. Last year, we were able to put the final nail in the coffin through our oil and gas regs and through a contract that we reached with the local developers. We were able to, or local oil and gas extractors, we were able to push that outside Longmont city limits. Right. And now we do not have oil and gas activity or fracking inside Longmont. And so that was something I wanted to tackle and continue to tackle into my first term. We did that. Now there are issues such as homelessness, affordable housing. There is, right now, there's a ballot issue that's very important to me. The new rec center, which will consist of a swimming pool and a sheet of ice. And there's a lot of rumors going around that aren't true. It's a rec center. It will be available to the public, just like the rec center we have now. Right. Essentially, think of a rec center, but instead of basketball courts, we have a larger swimming pool with enough space to watch swimming events, and enough space for our kids to practice and swim laps, and a sheet of ice to do hockey, but also ice skating and ice activities. Right. So it will be a rec center. The school district will only be using it 2 or 3 hours a day. They have signed a letter of intent saying that they will be paying for every minute that they are in the pool for each and every lane they use. So there's no freebies. And
and this is something that doesn't show up in the description on the
correct.
On the ballot.
Correct. And a lot of people think, oh, we don't want to raise taxes. Well, or they'll say, you need to shed the budget in order to find the money. Realize that this city staff is very frugal with its money. Now, unfortunately, we are spending a lot of our tax dollars on things like RTD, because 1 penny of every dollar that we spend goes to RTD, and we don't get the bus routes, and we don't have our train. Right.
Still working on the train?
Yeah, that's another issue.
Okay.
I want to make sure that I don't care whether or not you believe in a train or not. You either believe that we should get a train, or you believe that we should get our money back. But I don't care what side of the issue you're on. Everybody believes that give us our train or give us our money, or stop taking our money.
Right.
So the swimming pool ice rink is one. RTD fast tracks is another. Something that's kind of that has become a city initiative. It's council backed, but something that I have become quite fond of and I'm proud of is the Sister Cities relationship that we've started with the Northern Arapaho tribe. And
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
Good segue.
Yeah. So that's a relationship that it's important to me because as I've gotten to know the elected leaders and the ceremonial leaders as well as the members of the tribe, I've really grown to respect and love them. And
so beyond that, how can people, adults, youth, whatever, become more involved in that program?
So what that means,
or that connection.
Yeah. So for example, children can become involved by applying to be exchange students. Mm-hmm. So we had the first group of Arapaho youth come down this year. There were to be 8, but 7 wound up coming. They spent 3 or 4 days with us. Doing things like learning about Longmont, learning about the Innovation Center of the school district, learning about our art district, and in the future, either this year or the next, the tribe is talking about different opportunities our kids can have to go up there and learn about the Arapaho culture. Whether there's been some talk about the Sundance ceremony, our kids being able to go up and camp with the Arapaho.
That'd be amazing.
Right? It'd be awesome.
I'm in.
Yeah, and so.
Oh wait, I'm not a kid.
But you could, or adults could volunteer to be a chaperone.
To be a chaperone, no doubt.
And then the other thing is that they are constantly coming down to do. This was their homeland. The Indian tribes or the Native American tribes, indigenous tribes, however you want to label them, they're constantly interacting with state and federal government agencies, and so. Members of the elected tribe, their staff, the ceremonial leaders, they are always coming to Longmont.
Right.
And since we started this relationship, that has increased. So a lot of us are opening our homes, saying instead of getting a hotel, stay with us.
Right.
Which gives us an opportunity to wake up at 4:30 in the morning, and they drink coffee as we talk over breakfast and talk about their culture, their struggles, things they're trying to accomplish.
I'm also going to ask you about how you see your life, your family life, impacted by your role, and whether or not there's are they supportive? Are they impacted somehow?
Absolutely, they're impacted.
Right.
What I mean by that is so a city council person gets $1,000 a month.
Right.
Mayor gets $1,500. This is well beyond a part-time gig. I joke that it's a hobby because I have a full-time job as well. But the demands, if you're going to do it right, the demands of mayor and of city council are heavy. And it's unfortunate that a lot of people don't realize the effort that it requires. You're giving up time with your wife, your children. Who wouldn't rather watch television and see a Broncos game instead of going to a board meeting?
Or climb a 14er or do something. Right, exactly.
Or people for me, when I first ran, it was pretty simple. I just wanted a new movie theater. Literally that was the issue that I thought, maybe I should run for council and see if I can't do something about this old mall, old movie theater, and do something to get a new one, right? And so when you run for politics, it's not always about running for the higher office or the money or the power.
What about, I know that you and I made an initial connection over our roles as Boy Scouts.
Yep.
You as an Eagle Scout, myself as a Scoutmaster.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for sure that the 1 to 2 hours a week that they say that Scoutmasters are supposed to put in is way more.
Yeah.
So how do you see, do you still have a connection with the Boy Scouts? Is that something that you
my kids
keep in your life?
Augie and Mikey, my 12 and 13-year-old boys, were their court honor last night, got their advancements, and
excellent.
Now, granted, we could spend a whole nother hour on what the Boy Scouts could or could not do, or should or shouldn't have done, and where they've gone wrong and how they can fix it. But I still fundamentally believe that having kids go and learn how to respect nature and learn basic skills and learn respect
and leadership,
I think is a good thing.
My son just finished NYLT, so National Youth Leadership Training.
Very cool. So so whether it's Boy Scouts or whether it's ROTC or whether it's
Civil Air Patrol, absolutely,
or local sports,
yep.
Just getting involved is a good thing.
It is. It really is.
So, yes is the answer.
Yes, good. Who are the people that you think you need to swing, and what would you have to say to them?
Well, what I've always thought is I'm an unaffiliated voter. I was Republican. Left my affiliation and switched to unaffiliated a while ago, because that is where I tend to land, meaning I identify with the conservatives financially, and I identify with the progressives on social issues. And interestingly enough, I was out collecting my petitions to get on the ballot, and those who would say, I'm not signing that, I don't want to vote for you, or I'll sign it, but I'm not going to vote for you, I'd always follow up with, interesting, why not? What have I done, or what do you like or not like? And they'd either say, well, I'm a Democrat and you're too conservative, or they'd say, I'm a Republican and you're too liberal. And I got elected this time because I think my support comes from the middle, meaning that when I say I'm in the middle, I'm not talking about compromising your principles. What I'm talking about is convincing the people on the right that it can be done, and convincing the people on the left that it's not as easy as just saying that you want to do it, and then coming together, unifying people who can put ideology aside and politics aside and just move forward to accomplish our goal.
I like that.
So, I mean, when I ran in 2011, people didn't know who I was.
Sure.
Right.
Now they do.
Now everybody knows.
Right.
And so I always claimed that I wasn't this ultra conservative. I've always claimed that I'm not this ultra progressive, and I think my voting record speaks for itself. I mean, you might not agree with the affordable housing ordinance,
right?
But it's not destroying development. You might not agree with the affordable housing because it's not building enough affordable housing, but it is building affordable housing. Right?
Correct.
You might not agree with, anyway, again, figuring out ways to get things done is important.
If somebody walked up to you in the elevator over there, that's a short elevator ride, by the way.
Very short.
Let's go with a 60-second elevator speech. What would you want to tell people?
Hi, my name is Brian Bagley. I'm running for mayor of Longmont. I've been on city council since 2011, mayor since 2017. And the issues that are important to me right now are common sense oil and gas policy, finding a way to alleviate our homeless and transient epidemic, which also is tightly correlated to our crime rate, figuring out a way to enhance our sister cities' relationships with the Northern Arapaho. Next, also making sure that the amenities in town, such as parks and trails, such as the swimming pool ice rink, such as the current ice rec center we do have, making sure that those amenities are actually increased. And last but not least, affordable housing. On one hand, if you own a home, you want the value to increase. But on the other hand, if you're renting or you're looking to buy a home, we need to figure out some mechanism which we have in place to actually make that more affordable so that people who want to live in Longmont and work in Longmont have that opportunity.
Great. Do you have a website where people can go and find out more information?
Just go to Facebook and just type in Bagley for mayor and
Great.
It'll pop right up. So.
All right. Well, I want to thank you again, Longmont's digital mayor, myself, self-appointed, talking to the elected mayor who's looking for re-election. So,
Hey, do you want to do me a favor?
what's up?
Could you do a Longmont digital mayor for us?
Yeah.
There, now you don't have to say you're self-appointed. You've been asked by the mayor of Longmont to actually run this.
Awesome.
Have fun.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it.
No, we
That's
appreciate
amazing.
you.
All right. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you.
Great. So there you have it. Mayor Bagley has just conferred upon me the position of Longmont's digital mayor. I'm assuming that's unpaid. But in my role as Longmont's digital mayor, I will continue to bring you interviews with other local leaders, your favorite businesses, cool Longmonsters doing cool stuff, as well as real estate related items. Simply go to my YouTube channel, Longmont's Digital Mayor, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you get notified when other videos content is put out. Expect new content every Friday.